Right now, our panel will be in English, and we'll talk about new approach to smart contracts, akıllı sözleşmelere yeni bir bakış açısı. And I'd like to invite our speaker, who is Gear Technologies Chief Ecosystem Officer, Pavel Salas. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. One favor, do you hear me well on the back seats? Because when I was listening some of the panels, the microphone was not really good. So if you hear me upstairs, please raise your hands, guys. I can see. Okay, great. I can see you. Amazing. That's good. So let's start this speech. I will try to be quite fast, so that because we have like 20 minutes, I think, or something like that. And after that, we'll also have the workshop on which we would like to show how actually to build some smart contracts. We were thinking to do something based on Gamify. We'll see. Depending if you have computers, we'll do it. If not, we can do something like decentralized Twitter, the same idea, but we can code it faster and easier. Okay, so let's start. Yeah, okay, I can see it. So what Gear is? Gear Technologies is a technological company that stands behind the Gear protocol. Gear protocol is something that is able to be deployed on different type of blockchains. First of all, it could be deployed as a L1 solution, so meaning a standalone blockchain analogy to Ethereum, Solana, Near, whatever you name it. Also, it could become a parachain for Polkadot and Kusama, as it's built on Substrate, the same technology that allows you to actually become a parachain easily. Gear, I will not go. Let's another question. How many guys of you know what actually Polkadot is? Raise your hands, please. So, okay, you know what parachain is. Okay, great. Then I will just go to the technological aspects of Gear protocol, and if not, we'll later on can dig something about that. So, there is 3 pillars on which Gear is actually built. First of all is the actor model. Second is WASM, WebAssembly Virtual Machine, is something that actually all the model blockchains are using it. So it's faster and smoother, and it allows us to compile a lot of bytecodes into 60%. And then we have a persistent memory. I will not stay now on WASM and persistent memory, as it's more technical. I will try to skip that. Just these 2 parameters will help a lot to do something that actually will allow us to do asynchronous messaging and stuff like that. So let's start with an actor model. What the actor model is. It's actually something that's really used in the Web 2 space in high parallel computational processing. So it's a field well established of technology. How it works and how it represents. That means that actually anything in our blockchain is an actor. Doesn't matter if it's a user, if it's a program, or if it's a bridge. They communicate between themselves through messages, which means that actually, if you can see in this, a user can send a message to a program. That's normal, everybody does that. A program can send a message to another program. That's also quite typical. Then what we can do is a program can send a message to a user. This is something unique, and this allows you to do something that's called interactive programs. For example, what we also have automatically is like a messenger by design, which means that we can easily send a message to a user. For example, when we do a transaction, we send some money to our friend, and we can say thanks for that. Or we can just send a message without sending him money. Or we can just send a message to anybody whose Substrate address we know. So this is something that we're working on with different other guys like Wallet, Sub-Wallet, Nova Wallet, Talisman, to actually integrate that into their application where it will be quite easy to manage something new as messaging and becomes an interactive way of actually using your wallet. But this is just something in the beginning. We also, obviously, I will not touch much on the WASM side, and this is the comparison thing between AVM, WASM. If you know, AVM is the most popular virtual machine that is having now. It's a little bit slower, WASM is faster, AVM is built for specific needs, built actually by Gavin Wood, the founder and CEO of Polkadot, now chief architecture. Then when he actually moved into Polkadot, he decided to use another virtual machine that was built by Oracle, and actually Oracle, Apple, Mozilla, for execution of bytecodes in the web browsers, and he understood that it's actually faster to do it into the blockchain also. So, it's highly secured and allows a lot of languages to be actually compiled there, which actually also allows us to do something that Ethereum is willing to do now. They're also thinking to mix a little bit of WASM into EVM and stuff like that. The persistent memory allows us to actually allocate and deallocate memory to programs, allows us to use something that's called lazy pages so that we don't need to upload a lot of programs instantaneously. But all these things, I'm rushing a little bit because of the time, but all these things allows us to build one interesting solution as a protocol. We'll see different examples that actually helps us to build applications of the next generation. First of all, Gear will be deployed, as I said, as a parachain on Vara's standalone network. We are deploying that mostly sure on Q1 of the next year, where we will be actually showing all and testing everything performance-wise, security-wise solutions. Then after that, it will become a parachain for Kusama and then for Polkadot. Why we choose Polkadot? Okay, obviously, when we were looking into the solution, there is two ways why we choose Polkadot. First of all, our CEO and founder, Nikolai Wolf, was actually one of the first developers of Parity. He was the person behind Substrate and actually the framework of Polkadot. And when he actually went out from Polkadot, he was thinking what to do next. If we think that Substrate is something that, a framework that allows you to build blockchains practically out of the box in an easy and fast way. So if we talk about Gear, what we are doing is we're allowing you to build an application like out of the box in an easy and fast way also. So it's one of the solutions. Second, obviously, the idea of intercommunication between different blockchains, it's there. I think the future is actually there, intercompatibility. And we have actually just two options for that. We have Polkadot and we have Cosmos. And obviously, the Polkadot has one of the biggest benefits, that is actually shared security. And this is something where actually Cosmos is also moving now, because they understood that this is a problem. Obviously, if the main idea of Polkadot is actually to ensure that the network is secure, and this is something really important, because otherwise, if you are begging into the security of each one of the networks, then the lowest security becomes the biggest security of the network, and that's the problem. That's actually what happens a lot with the bridges also. So, what a network? What we have? We have a network with asynchronous blockchain. We'll talk about what asynchronous is in the next slide, to be honest. Then we have a fast and community governance, fast governance, easy governance. We have a stable and fast network that actually the block producing would be 2 seconds. There will be different type of finality. The consensus of proof of stake, the same as has actually Kusama Polkadot. Now, the interesting stuff. Centralized, synchronous and asynchronous, what that means and how that works. Actually, if we check the Web 2 world, practically any application that you have on your phone or that you're actually using is asynchronous. What that means? That means that the logic of the execution of the code that is going there doesn't depend, let's say, if something is running now and the next program could be executed without waiting this result, it would be executed. Meaning, if you want to upload a video on YouTube, for example, let's say you go first stage, you put the name of the video, second the description of it, then you go into the upload site, you start uploading it, then you should receive the URL and would like to change any of the parameters. If we talk about synchronous stuff, once you start uploading the video, you get stuck. You cannot do anything till actually the video is uploaded. So if you want at that moment go and change something, you cannot do it. You will just say uploading, uploading, uploading. If we're talking about asynchronous stuff, once we put uploading there, the video starts uploading. It doesn't matter. We already received the URL. We already can change anything of the parameters that we want. And we can actually already interact with that. We can send the link to any other person. The only thing that he couldn't be able to do is the video till it's uploaded. So that actually gives us a lot of freedom in Web 2, and it's the usability, and obviously into the blockchains also. So when we're talking about smart contracts, there is another thing that also we talk about synchronous things in smart contracts. When we're talking about smart contract, the execution of all the code should be done inside one block. Meaning, if we have a smart contract, the logic of the smart contract where A needs to send a transaction to B, that should be computed, and then in order to give a result, we need to wait something or an input from a person C. Then, if we're talking about synchronous blockchains and you name them, Near, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, Polygon, doesn't matter, practically everybody of them is synchronous, you can execute this logic either in one block, or you need to take it outside, do it outside, and then put the result into the blockchain. So, in this case, for example, we have this problem. If we're talking about gear, it doesn't matter. You can actually execute A plus B, put it into the first block that is go there. Then what we have is called delay transactions. So this smart contract will be waiting for the result. Once he receives it, it will compute and give the final result into this into the blockchain, into the solution state. So this allows us to really start forgetting about the terminology that's called smart contracts. That actually is quite binary solution. It actually allows us to build something that's called decentralized programs. So you can put and generate more sophisticated logic where you can think about more complex NFTs, for example, an interactive NFT, which depending on what will say to you and the message that you give to him will be changed. For example, something like a Tamagotchi that I don't know however of you can see in this old game where I have a person that will be evolving. For example, he's saying, I'm hungry, and you can send him an NFT of a sandwich or a beer, I don't know. And depending on how he feels, he will be growing, he will be changing, he will be evolutioning on this way. Second thing that it allows you to do is build more sophisticated gamify things. I don't know if somebody of you has seen any of the gameplays that are actually running on blockchain. Some of them are actually a more sophisticated way from my point of view of farming or staking. The other ones already try to have a gameplay, but on this gameplay you have a problem. First of all, you have to wait till everybody makes their step. Then all the information will be computed, and then we'll give the result, and then everybody can make the next step, and then wait, and this is going back and back and back. So with asynchronous idea, you can easily make that each one can make their own steps without waiting the result of other guys, and then once it's computed, you can see the state, the changed state of the whole thing. So it's something more similar to what we get used if we're talking about normal games. And obviously then you can have all the logic of the game on the blockchain. If we're talking about decentralization, and we're talking about that we want to have programs decentralized, secure, and censorship, so that actually means that everything should be really running into the blockchain. If we're talking about a DEX, it should have a front and a back running there, because otherwise it could easily be just close the front end and you will not be able to use the logic. So next thing, obviously, that we can do is a more sophisticated or next generation of DeFi, meaning you can actually put, as I said, the front and the back end there. You can build an order book that would be actually, the whole logic of the order book would be on the blockchain. Because for now, if you see order books that actually other guys are, some DEXs are already having them, but it's actually outside. The same. It's running on the back and then just put information into the blockchain. Here you can put delay orders, more sophisticated orders, stop losses, take profits, FIFO orders, and anything else. How to run a DApp on Vara? It's quite easy. At the same moment, we built something that, like an analogy of the SDK, it's called IDEA, where you can see different parameters. First of all, you can see the option of the messages that you can send to the programs. You can see all your programs that are running onto the blockchain. You can see obviously all the programs running there. You can see the execution, the problems that you're having. You can have different examples that we have, because what we do, we build a lot of examples so that you can put them as Lego blocks, one on top of another, and build the application that you would like to do in a fast way. We have different options where you can actually build a DAO in less than 6 minutes, a marketplace in less than 13 minutes, and all the stuff like that. Scroll accounts, you just can check them and see what works for you. Obviously, also we decided to launch a Gear Academy. It was a result of different workshops that we were doing in different universities all over the world. We were giving to the students the idea of a small workshop, 30 minutes of theory, and then a little bit of practice. They can code their different smart contracts. And then the guys start asking what else we can do. So we decided to launch what's called the Gear Academy. We already run several, let's say, iterations to see how best it will work. And mostly sure in the January we will launch it with the new way. So it will be open to everybody in the better way. We'll be just like having 50 people in the beginning and then spreading more and more options to do that. You will run step by step with our developers and videos and reading stuff how actually you can build your own applications. And actually, as an example, at the end of this academy, you will be building as a homework this an interactive NFT that depends on how you will interact with them. We'll be changing the stuff. Why we do it? We really want to bring Web 2 developers into the Web 3. Because now what's happening is that a lot of people are just moving from one project into another, looking for grants, trying to do something, and it's the same teams. So everybody's cannibalizing the whole ecosystem. But if we really want Web 3 to grow and make big and strong ecosystem, we need to have people from outside, new fresh blood that will come here and actually start building these new applications with their new ideas and their new set of mind. If you will see now, and this is the statistics, it's not our analysis, but we take it from there, you can see 80,000 developers that are doing some commits related to crypto into the GitHub per month. That means everything, starting from NFTs, finalizing infrastructural projects, everything there. But if we go and see that we have 2.2 million of Rust developers that are actually a huge scale of different developers, then we have about 20 million of developers that can work on languages compatible to WASM. Obviously, for now, mainly on our smart contracts are written on Rust, but we are also working on deploying different other options. And mostly sure the next year on the Q1, maybe we will have the option to write on Python, maybe with C++, ideas like that. So even more developers could be easily joining and writing their code on Gear. Obviously Rust, why we started with that, it's the most secure language and the best syntaxes that you can have, to be honest. Projects that are integrating on and building on actually Vara. There's different guys from the ecosystem that are working with us. We have their Crust. We tried to build around Vara before the launch something that's called, let's say, the infrastructural projects that will support you as a developer later on. So you have Crust, for example, the guys that can give you storaging, analogy of IPFS, but in the better way from our point of view. They also use IPFS. Zenlink, the DEXs, Remark, NFTs, wallets, automata, something for integration and automation if you want to do supply chains or stuff like that. We have Bounce Finance, we have Launchpads, we have actually different other wallets, Subsquid, indexers, oracles, you name it. Everything that you need to start building there, it will be there for you. We're also launching a development grant program. We started doing some hackathons. We did just, let's say, I think last week in Mexico, just came from Mexico. We did a huge hackathon there with universities. We have around 10 universities, around 120 students. We had more than 500 people listening into different events that we were doing, workshops we were doing there. These guys are developing something. And we know that when you develop an MVP in a hackathon, the question becomes later on, what else I can do with that? And the idea is take this MVP, talk with the guys and say, don't stop there. Do the next step. Try to build something more interesting, and when it's there, we can help you either with a grant, because we want to support you, or we can start talking also with different other VCs and stuff like that, interactions that we're having, so maybe they can get the match together and become building the applications on their life that will be working either on us or on the parachain, that and have the auction to go into the whole ecosystem. We're also launching the ambassador program. It's practically there. It depends a little bit of the legal stuff, but we're thinking either we'll launch that like the next week before Christmas, or we'll start on January. But this is the idea. We understand that we cannot build all this by ourselves. We need community. We need people that can help us. We need hands that could actually start helping, doing something, be the same passion as we about the blockchain and decentralization, new approaches and new technology. Help us to do online events, offline events, translations, check materials, videos, whatever. Everything that people would like to help us, we are really grateful for that. One of the things that we want to launch also is like checking the errors, ideas, bug counties. If you're a programmer and you can help us on checking that, that also would be good. So it's there. These are the main links where you can see our contract examples, our GitHub, totally open sourced, everything is there. Then you can see our Gear Twitter, all the news that is happening now, the best way to learn it, it's there. We have also our Discord. We have also Telegram on Turkish. If you go actually into our webpage and go into the contact session, you will see the in different languages, different communities that we are having. And in order to close all this thing and wrapping it down, I'm practically getting into my 20 minutes. I would like to give you a present. If you will scan that Telegram, you will receive an NFT, a commemorative NFT that's just related to this event. The people that, obviously the network is not launched yet, so we cannot do anything legally except NFTs. But that will be a recognition, and we will be also understanding that these people like joined our events, and maybe later on, once the network will be launched, we can do something else. But it should be minted on the substrate address. If you don't have a substrate address, in the bot it will ask you. It will send you into the instruction on our wiki where you can get it and which wallet you can download. I would really recommend to download Nova Wallet. It's the best way how you can actually into the Polkadot ecosystem for now from your mobile phone collect NFTs and tokens. So if you download it, you open your Substrate account, you put it into the bot, and then you will receive this NFT. We also have something that's t-shirts for giving as a present. We will be launching a workshop in another zone. We'll put the t-shirts there if you want. It's for them. If not, I think we'll arrange with the guys from the ATU and we can leave it there so you can take them. But it's there, just 50 guys, but it's just as a reminder. Thanks a lot for your time. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer. If not, I hope I did my job correctly. Thanks a lot, guys.